So what's this new thing with movies that don't want people to come and watch them? I ask because earlier in the week I reviewed Blockers, which in the watching is a smart, thoughtful, forward-looking movie with a ton of really positive, smart stuff to offer and say about teenage girls and the relation of American parents there too, which feels very much like the way overdue sex-positive reworking of the raunchy teen comedy that the genre needed, but is apparently being marketed exactly like the kind of dumb, hypocritically puritanical, gross-out comedy it's kind of a curative for. And now we have A Quiet Place, which the title and the ad campaign have been pitching as something on the lines of one of those contemplative art house horror things, like It Comes at Night, which I liked but recognize isn't really a rush out and see it good time of a blockbuster, but this most definitely isn't that. In fact, it had barely been on long enough for the title to come up before I realized, oh wait, this is just a regular, old-school, no bullshit kind of B-movie, but in the good way, badass monster movie. Why aren't they telling people that? But yeah, A Quiet Place is a monster movie, one featuring good production design, good actors, handsome, above-average effects, plus direction that's confident enough to keep things slow when it needs to be, sure, but ultimately it's a movie about big, gross, snarly monsters and the people who hide from and or battle to survive them. The premise is ingeniously simple, reminiscent of Day of the Triffids, and also clearly inspired by the last decade or so of so-called survival horror video games. We're about a year out from basically the apocalypse, and Earth has been, or at least most of North America has been, laid to waste by rampaging monsters who are apparently aliens, but I don't think that's ever implicitly stated out loud, that navigate entirely by an ultra-acute sense of sound. They can't see, they don't seem to smell much, but if you do so much as breathe too loud, they're gonna get you. So the only way to survive is to shut the hell up and stay that way. Our main characters are a family of upstate New York farmers who, as circumstance would have it, include a young daughter who happens to be deaf, meaning they've already become fluent in communicating through American Sign Language, or ASL, which has given them a tactical advantage in surviving, since they don't have to speak out loud to organize semi-complex daily routines, and affords the film the unique distinction of featuring almost all of its dialogue in ASL with subtitles. That's pretty goddamn cool if you ask me, especially as they've cast actual deaf actress Millicent Simmons, previously seen in Wonderstruck, in the daughter role, so good for them. John Krasinski, who also co-wrote and directed the film, has more or less the lead as the strong yet gentle, sad-eyed, dad-bearded, badass, self-sacrificing, mad survival skill-possessing patriarch so eerily reminiscent of every post-2010 AAA video game protagonist that if we watch these people do any serious farming, this could be a trailer for the gritty reboot of Harvest Moon. Please don't fucking do that. But Emily Blunt also gets equal time and equal monster fighting propers as a very pregnant mom, and the two kids get admirably well fleshed out subplots and arcs of their own. Beyond that, like I said, it's just a monster movie, and there's not a big secret or hook apart from the sign language or some kind of reality-redefining, genre-bending Shyamalan twist. There's scary monsters out there. If you make a noise, they're gonna get you, so try not to do that, and that's about it. We spend exactly enough time getting to know the characters, a general sense of the geography and what they do or avoid doing to survive, what the various fail-safes and security measures are to keep them safe, and what could go wrong in terms of the mechanisms or the interpersonal conflicts and miscommunications building up, or just the shit happens, random bad luck that could go down, and then we hit a point where a whole succession of stuff that can go wrong does in fact go really wrong, and we watch how they fight and or scramble their way out of it, or don't. I'm not gonna spoil. And that's it. That's pretty much all of it. That's the whole movie. Here's a dozen different scenarios where you would not want to be in a rural farmhouse in the middle of nowhere with basically the alien, and you can't make any noise because that's how it's gonna get you. And while I don't know if any of it's brilliant, a lot of it is pretty damn ingenious. And since it's not trying to be anything more highbrow than a very well-directed drive-in monster movie, it gets to revel in the freedom of one damn thing after another set pieces involving poorly timed childbirth, flooding basements, grain silos, kids who don't know any better, the classics in other words. I sort of wish the monsters themselves were a little more interestingly designed, though I appreciate the matter-of-factness in selling the mechanics of how they work by eventually just giving them a bunch of ear. But otherwise, they kind of have that same xenomorph meets the Cloverfield monster look that it feels like every movie monster has had for the last half-decade or so, and I miss the variety that movie monsters had back in the day when we were less concerned about them looking biologically plausible. Still, they're effective when they need to be, all teeth and claws and stompy noises and rapid darting motion blurs. I mean, look, gang, there are very few things I like more than a good, pure, straight-up, no bullshit monster movie, and A Quiet Place is is a seriously tight version of that. It doesn't have the special something extra of a Tremors or an Alligator, but it's above Anaconda or Deep Blue Sea, though I also enjoy both of those. And it's probably far and away the best thing Platinum Dunes has ever released, even though I do like the second and third Purge movies. 3 stars, I would watch a part 2 of this.